Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 337 based on novel. So let's start. The seal suddenly collapsed after Wang Lin tore it. After it collapsed, an indescribably powerful aura erupted from Wang Lin's body. This aura was very strong and formed a vortex. This vortex became stronger and stronger. It was so strong that it caused fear to appear in the eyes of the surrounding beast. This seal had suppressed Wang Lin's cultivation after he absorbed the Dao fruit in the seven-colored realm. 1. This seal separated him from the Nirvana Shatterer state. Right now, for Li Qianmai, to pay back her 10 years of effort, and as something he should do as a man, he opened the seal without hesitation. The moment the seal was released, it was as if a giant mirror had collapsed and countless fragments had scattered. The sound of the mirror breaking and the popping sounds inside Wang Lin's body seemed to be the only sounds left. All the roars from the beasts were suppressed. Even the king beasts behind all these beasts trembled. It was as if a large amount of power was gathering toward Wang Lin from all directions. Even the two large whips coming from the void paused for a moment. However, they quickly lashed toward Wang Lin. However, just as the two whips closed in, an unimaginable aura erupted from Wang Lin's body. This created a huge vortex around Wang Lin, and a thunderous rumble echoed. Wang Lin's roar came out of the vortex. One of the whips immediately collapsed when it touched the vortex. When the second tail broke through the vortex, a hand immediately caught it. Wang Lin's body gave off an extremely dangerous aura and his white hair moved without any wind. His left hand held the whip and his right hand held Li Qianmai. His eyes gave off a cold glint. The sound of a mirror shattering became even stronger. It was as if a powerful aura wanted to squeeze out of Wang Lin's body. The powerful aura coming from Wang Lin became even more intense. The origin energy inside his body circulated like crazy and endless origin energy rushed into his body from outside. The origin energy continued to gather until Wang Lin finally passed a threshold that was extremely difficult for cultivators. He had truly stepped into the Nirvana Shatterer stage. The moment he entered the Nirvana Shatterer stage, the world before Wang Lin's eyes changed. Origin energy rushed into Wang Lin like crazy, and he let out a roar. Roar. This roar was heaven-shaking and surpassed all thunder. It turned into a sound wave and spread like crazy. As the roar echoed, it formed a destructive aura. The fierce beasts around Wang Lin bled out from their orifices and their bodies collapsed as they let out miserable screams. As the popping sounds echoed, they formed a ring of blood mist. What was even more shocking was that the blood mist collapsed once more due to the sound wave. All the fierce beasts around Wang Lin exploded into a mist of blood. This was no longer killing, but a slaughter. Since the creation of this spatial crack, this wide-scale slaughter was extremely rare. Wang Lin's roar caused hundreds of beasts to explode. Even the king beasts further away revealed fear in their eyes and retreated. For the fierce beasts, this was like a nightmare, but right now the nightmare wasn't over. It had just begun. He broke through peak Nirvana Cleanser and entered the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer. However, this wasn't the end for Wang Lin. The power of the Dao fruit hadn't dissipated completely, and the comprehension Wang Lin had gained in the Dao realm erupted. The aura inside his body suddenly spread out. It became stronger and even more crazy. All of this happened in a flash. Wang Lin broke through the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer and directly entered the mid-stage. If it wasn't for this spatial crack being extremely strange, which made it so divine retribution couldn't enter, it would have immediately appeared. And it would have been countless times stronger than before. This would be the strongest divine retribution he had to face. The moment his cultivation erupted to the mid-stage of Nirvana Shatterer, there was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He stepped forward, and at that moment, the vortex of origin energy around him swept his surroundings with an indescribable impact. Rumble, 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 rumble. Under this impact, the fierce beasts couldn't dodge at all, and they all collapsed. The smell of blood permeated the world. It was very strong, very strong. Wang Lin was like a slaughter god. As he moved forward, his left hand grabbed the whip and pulled. He opened his mouth and spat out a palm-sized blood sword. The blood sword followed the whip and charged off into the void. There was a thunderous bang so powerful that even the world seemed to tremble violently. As the world trembled, a clear and muffled groan came from the void. The whip collapsed and dissipated without a trace. There was a flash of blood light in the void and the blood sword flew back. There was a drop of dark gold blood on the tip of the sword, and it flowed through the sword. Wang Lin's right hand held Li Qianmai as killing intent filled his eyes. His left hand formed a seal and 8 black dragons appeared. Call the wind surrounded Wang Lin. As he moved forward, large groups of the remaining fierce beasts began to die. The blood sword contained a sliver of Wang Lin's divine sense. It flew through the void, harvesting the lives of these fierce beasts. This place was filled with blood, so the blood sword was very excited. The blood sword let out sword hymns while it killed. It drank blood as it penetrated the fierce beasts. Their bodies would tremble, and in the blink of an eye, they would become skeletons. The blood light from the blood sword became stronger and stronger. There was a sense of cheer as it howled through the void. It seemed excited from all the slaughter. It was as if it had been a long time since it slaughtered like this. As it continued to slaughter, the aura of the blood sword increased greatly. It became even more sharp. There was also those 10,000 mosquito beasts that were stimulated by the blood. They let out earth-shattering hisses and didn't care about death as they began a slaughter with the fierce beasts around them. Inside the crack, Wang Lin was surrounded by countless fierce beasts. However, with the mosquito beasts, blood sword, and his mid-stage nirvana shatterer cultivation, he carved out a path of blood. His clothes had become blood red, but he never stopped. As this intense slaughter went on, time continued to pass. After an unknown amount of time, fewer fierce beasts remained. As the slaughter continued, they became more afraid. They had lived inside the crack from the moment of their birth, and they only feared the aura of a king beast. Facing any foreign being, especially cultivators, they would not fear them no matter how strong the foreign being was. Instead, it would just make them even more ferocious. However, witnessing Wang Lin's slaughter, they were afraid for the first time. An unknown amount of fierce beasts had died to Wang Lin's spell, even he himself couldn't remember how many. He only knew that fierce beasts filled the world before him, and he had to kill. He had to slaughter a path of blood to take Li Qianmai out of the spatial crack and to the outer realm, regardless of Tuor Sen's presence. He had to bring her to Dao Master Blue Dream, who seemed to have some relation with Li Qianmai. Dao Master Blue Dream was willing to let Wang Lin go after seeing Li Qianmai's bracelet. With Wang Lin's intelligence and Li Qianmai's identity as an orphan, he was able to roughly guess a few things. With that Dao Master Blue Dream's power, he can certainly save Li Qianmai. This was Wang Lin's only hope. Even if he were to die, he was going to send Li Qianmai there. This was what he owed Li Qianmai. He had to repay her. There were broken corpses floating inside this cold and purple realm inside the spatial crack. It had already become hell. The blood mist was dense and stuck together to form a sea of blood. There were only 5,000 mosquito beasts remaining from the previous 10,000, but they were all filled with killing intent far more powerful than those living in the Wind Celestial Realm possess. The Wind Celestial Realm belonged to the mosquito beasts. Aside from the battle between mosquito kings, there weren't many dangers. This hindered the mosquito beasts' evolution. However, inside the cruel spatial crack, the mosquito beasts had awakened their special bloodline during this slaughter. All those that survived were now extremely fierce. In particular, the Mosquito King let out a monstrous roar from its large mouth that could pierce the world. If anyone were to meet its ruthless gaze, they would feel a chill in their heart. The blood sword moved through the sea of blood, giving off a demonic glow as it did so. The sword howled and gave off a fierce aura. It was as if a soul was devouring the blood and was slowly awakening. There was only a sea of blood within 10,000 feet. No more fierce beasts dared to take half a step inside. All they could do was stare at Wang Lin in fear. However, just at this moment, a sharp whistle came from the void. It was 9 whip-like shadows lashing at Wang Lin. At this moment, a giant figure appeared in the void. It was a giant scorpion with 9 tails. The scorpion was tens of thousands of feet tall and gave off a shocking pressure. It wasn't solid, but an illusion. Before the shadow was a woman in black with a scorpion tattoo on her face. She moved forward with a gloomy gaze and blood coming out of the corner of her mouth. She stared at Wang Lin. "I'm purple blood under the command of the ancient imperial concubine. Who are you?" 1. This didn't happen in the seven-colored realm. I think the author just uses seven-colored realm to refer to what happened at the time. Human form rank 13 beast. As Wang Lin stood inside the sea of blood, his eyes lit up. He looked at the woman in black with the giant scorpion shadow before her. He immediately recognized that she wasn't a cultivator, but a fierce beast that had turned into a human once their cultivation reached a certain point. The whip shadow that had collapsed the blue light around Li Qianmai was obviously the tail of the scorpion shadow behind this woman in black. Without this tail, Li Qianmai wouldn't have been so seriously injured. She would have lasted until Wang Lin arrived. After seeing the woman in black and the scorpion shadow behind her, killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He immediately saw that although she had turned into a human, her cultivation level was only equal to a cultivator at the second heaven's blight. He didn't even answer her question before immediately charging toward the woman in black, leaving behind after images. When his body moved, the blood sword flew next to Wang Lin. His left hand grabbed it and he mercilessly chopped down. The expression of the woman in black changed. She had been injured by this blood sword before. She immediately retreated and opened her arms. The giant scorpion shadow behind her trembled and let out a howl. The 9 tails moved like 9 whips as they lashed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was ferocious, and he didn't stop at all. He stepped forward and waved the blood sword, causing a ray of blood energy to shoot out. There were sharp screams coming from the sword energy as it shot toward the 9 whip-like tails. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and the blood sword released a bright light and caused the sea of blood to form a giant vortex. As it swept forward, 3 of the tails suddenly collapsed. The blood light flashed, and the blood sword was invincible. In a flash, it directly cut off 4 whips. In the end, only 2 remained, and as they closed in on Wang Lin, he waved his left hand. Origin energy began to gather. He combined it with his ancient god power form a heaven-shattering wind that collided with the 2 whips. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the 2 whips shattered. After opening the seal, the power from the Dao fruit he digested allowed him to break through to the Nirvana Shatterer stage. He finally became a true powerhouse. He had also absorbed the ancient god aura at the everlasting sect and recovered all his stars. His 6th star had finally taken form, and even the 7th star had begun to show itself. Adding the bizarre blood sword refined with the blood of an ancient god, Wang Lin's fighting strength was beyond what it was when he fought Daoist water. Most importantly, the 5 essences in his body had awakened. Although they were very weak, they were constantly growing. It could be said that the current Wang Lin was the strongest he had ever been in his 2,000 years of cultivation. It could be said that the Wang Lin now had finally entered the realm of the strong. Whether he was in the inner realm or outer realm, he could become a ruler. "You're a mere rank 13 beast that turned human. You are not qualified to block me, to ask for my name." Wang Lin's clothes were blood red and his even hair was red with blood. He stepped forward and charged like a blood meteor toward the woman in black. The woman's face became even more pale and her eyes filled with shock. She thought the most difficult thing to deal with would be the blood sword, but now she realized that although this cultivator's cultivation didn't feel powerful, he had the strength to kill her. Seeing Wang Lin closing in like a meteor, the woman immediately retreated. Her hands formed a seal and she waved her hand. A dark whip immediately appeared. This whip was not a shadow, but real. It was covered in thorns, and at the end there was a sickle. What kind of whip was this? It was obviously a scorpion tail. The woman in black held the scorpion tail whip and lashed out. Shocking rumbles echoed as it lashed out, leaving after images behind. It seemed like it would rip the world open. It smashed down on Wang Lin as he closed in. Wang Lin sneered and waved his left hand. The blood sword flew out filled with excitement and chopped down at the whip. At the same time, Wang Lin's left hand pushed forward and origin energy gathered inside his eyes, then his gaze landed on his left palm. He used his gaze as a replacement for his right hand that was holding Li Qianmai, and he used the spell he had learned from Master Lu Fu. Origin energy gathered and an unimaginable destructive power gathered in Wang Lin's left hand. There was also the power of an ancient god mixed in. Wang Lin pushed his left hand toward the woman in black and the spell in his left hand shot out. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The palm print Wang Lin shot out shined brightly like the sun, lighting up the surroundings and then descending toward the woman in black. The woman's face revealed terror and she let out a mournful cry. She ignored the scorpion tail whip and bit the tip of her tongue to spit out blood. The blood collapsed into a formation of blood mist that wrapped her up, then she retreated like crazy. As she retreated, she leaned backward, and her clothes were torn, revealing her snow-white skin. At the same time, thorns came from her body as if there was a giant scorpion within her. At this moment, while she retreated, the scorpion broke through her body and charged out. However, the moment it came out, the palm print caught up and collided with the blood mist. A thunderous rumble and a miserable scream were heard. At this moment, the blood sword swept forward. The scorpion tail whip wasn't able to stop it at all and exploded. Wang Lin had overwhelming strength in the battle against the woman in black. She had no power to resist. It felt like before Wang Lin, she could only retreat, retreat, retreat. I'm under the command of the Moon Ancient Imperial Concubine. If you dare to kill me, the Imperial Concubine will kill your entire clan. The miserable cry echoed from the retreating blood mist. However, this didn't make Wang Lin stop. He chased even faster. Kill my clan. My entire clan is dead, I'm the only one left. You hurt this woman, so I'll take your life and refine you into a treasure so you can suffer endless pain. Wang Lin's voice was cold, and he immediately caught up. His left hand mercilessly slammed down. A thunderous rumble echoed. When Wang Lin's left hand slammed down, his eyes narrowed and he retreated a few dozen steps. The blood mist collapsed and there was a shocking force. A ferocious aura shot out, and the woman in black was no longer there. A giant black scorpion suddenly appeared. It was originally only a few dozen feet in size, but the moment it appeared, it began to grow until it was over 100,000 feet. The scorpion shadow behind it overlapped like a cultivator's soul returning to place. The moment they overlapped, a fishy wind blew by. There were flesh moving at the top of the scorpion's head, and it turned into a human face. It was the woman in black. She looked at Wang Lin with a venomous gaze and let out a mournful scream. The 9 scorpion tails waved and caused a thunderous rumble. It was as if the world was going to collapse. It screamed and charged at Wang Lin, filled with hatred. In addition to the 9 tails, the 2 large claws were also aimed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin was like an insignificant ant before the giant scorpion, but his expression was unchanged. He let out a cold snort as his left hand hit the spot between his eyebrows and his ancient god stars appeared. They rotated rapidly. As the stars rotated, ancient god power rushed into Wang Lin's body and his bones began to grow along with his flesh. His body grew to 100 feet, 1,000 feet, until he was nearly 10,000 feet tall. Rough skin, heaven-shaking aura, and that ancient aura. At this moment, an ancient god appeared in the world. Ancient god. After seeing the stars between Wang Lin's eyebrows, the woman in black revealed unimaginable fear. Wang Lin's eyes seemed to contain stars and shined brightly. He held Li Qianmai in the palm of his hand and he stepped forward. His left hand formed a fist and threw a punch. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The giant scorpion trembled and its body was knocked to the side. Popping sounds echoed from the claw that collided with Wang Lin's left hand, and cracks appeared on it. The intense pain caused the person that created the scorpion to reveal a painful expression. Wang Lin didn't stop, he charged out once more. He caught up in an instant, and with one step, he landed on the scorpion's back. His left hand smashed down. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The scorpion let out a mournful cry and the 2 claws collapsed. The 9 tails lashed at Wang Lin, but Wang Lin grabbed 2 of them with his left hand before jumping up. As Wang Lin jumped up, the scorpion wasn't able to break free from the power of the ancient god and was pulled up. Wang Lin hated the scorpion to the bones. At this moment, he slammed the scorpion down. The scorpion was too big, and Wang Lin smashed it into a large group of fierce beasts. They all immediately died. However, It wasn't over. Wang Lin just held the scorpion's tails and dragged its body forward. He continued to smash it down and broke through the siege like this. The fear in the ferocious beast's eyes when they looked at Wang Lin was indescribable, as if they were looking at a rank 13 beast. However, they were slower than Wang Lin, and he also had the giant scorpion in his hand. He roared as he charged, and he used the scorpion like a weapon as he smashed fierce beasts with it. The scorpion became weaker and weaker, even its miserable screams became faint. The mosquito beasts surrounding Wang Lin began to buzz violently. In particular, the Mosquito King stared at the scorpion with longing in its eyes. "You've injured her, so you have to pay the price." Wang Lin's voice was cold as he held the scorpion and threw it again. The two tails he was holding were suddenly torn off, and the body fell into the void. There were many broken parts on its body, and blood flowed everywhere. The moment it landed, the Mosquito King let out a violent hiss and charged out like crazy. When it got close, its large mouth stabbed into the crack on the scorpion's body. It inhaled and revealed an excited look. After this, the remaining 5,000 mosquito beasts rushed out and surrounded the scorpion. Their sharp mouths stabbed in and began to suck frantically. The scorpion's scream was miserable, as if it was her last struggle for life. However, the struggle was weak and couldn't stop the 5,000 mosquito beasts from absorbing her. Even Wang Lin felt his scalp tingle when he saw this. It only took a few breaths of time for the scorpion's body to wither and lose all her blood. Even her understanding of Tao scattered and was sucked away by the mosquito beasts. The Mosquito King let out a hiss and revealed a look of ecstasy. Its body trembled and its cultivation level increased greatly. Not only it, but the remaining 5,000 mosquito beasts all roared excitedly. After tasting the blood of beasts and absorbing their essences, they went through a frenzy of growth. Now they scattered and chased after the fierce beasts. If one was caught, they attacked in droves and sucked the beast dry. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the mosquito beasts and arrived next to the giant scorpion. He waved his left and ripped off the remaining 7 scorpion tails. He opened his mouth, spat out a mouthful of blue flames, and set the tails ablaze. As the fire burned, flashes of restrictions appeared in his eyes and fell on the tails. A moment later, the 9 tails fused into one, and it was placed into Wang Lin's storage space. Then his left hand formed a fist and landed on the scorpion's head, causing the head to explode, revealing a fist-sized black core. There was flashes of the woman in black inside the black core, and her face was filled with terror. If a rank 13 beast could turn human, it was like having 2 lives. Even if their beast body collapsed, they still had an origin soul inside their body. The woman was terrified while Wang Lin picked up the black core, and there was coldness in his eyes. His divine sense rushed into the black core, breaking through everything, and began searching her memories. Wang Lin gradually saw her entire life. He saw that countless years ago, this scorpion was only rank 7, but she had seen a woman by chance. That woman pointed at the scorpion with her right hand to leave a mark and said one thing. "What an intelligent little beast. I name you Purple Blood. Become one of my beast generals and help me heal." The woman's figure was blurry and she couldn't get a clear look. In the scorpion's memories, she was extremely respectful of this woman. Memories passed. As he continued to search, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He learned that there was a total of 19 beasts that could turn human. He found out that the size of the crack was boundless. Not even these fierce beasts knew what was deeper inside. They just knew that there were powerful beasts inside, and that they didn't easily come out. However, whenever they did, it would set off a huge wave. As for the origin of the crack, not even the woman in black knew. She only knew that she had been here since she was born. Wang Lin also found out that there was a restricted area deep within the spatial crack. The woman the scorpion respected was healing there, and a long time had passed. Wang Lin withdrew his divine sense and began to ponder. He understood that the place this place led to was likely not the outer realm like the demon sect had thought, but a mysterious place. For some unknown reason, when Wang Lin withdrew his divine after searching the scorpion's memories, he unwittingly thought about the spatial crack in the wind celestial realm. He remembered the giant Mosquito King struggling to come out of the crack and the chaotic world filled with mosquito beasts on the other side. Is there any connection between those two places? Wang Lin pondered for a bit before he stopped thinking about it. Instead, he turned toward the exit and quickly rushed over. Since Wang Lin wasn't sure if this place led to the outer realm, he wasn't going to waste any more time here. He had to rush back to the demon sect as soon as possible and go to the sealed realm formation. He had to find a way to break out and look for Tao Master Blue Dream. At the start, it was the fierce beasts sieging Wang Lin, but now he was hunting them one by one. As he continued his slaughter, he moved faster and faster toward the exit. Wang Lin's flowing time spell didn't waver at all, it was constantly activated, preventing Li Qianmei's life from extinguishing. Time slowly passed. As Wang Lin rushed through, the fierce beasts were slaughtered one by one, the mosquito beasts. The blood sword surrounded Wang Lin and immediately charged out when it detected a fierce beast. As for the 9 abyss dragon that was tamed, it had long escaped, and not a trace of it remained. Wang Lin was gradually approaching the exit according to the map in the jade. However, he was getting anxious because his flowing time spell was only slowing down Li Qianmei's loss of life, not stopping it. The slower he was, the lower her chance of surviving became. However, Wang Lin had seen the sealed realm formation before, and he wasn't very confident in opening it. The divine retribution didn't descend inside the spatial crack, but I can feel that it will descend the moment I leave. Perhaps, with the power of the divine retribution, I can break through the sealed realm formation. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he flew even faster. However, when he was more than halfway out and was close to the exit, a soft voice slowly drifted toward him. You are leaving in such a rush after killing one of my beast generals. You need to give me an explanation. This voice was very calm, but it appeared very abruptly. Even Wang Lin didn't notice. When the voice entered his ears, he suddenly stopped and turned around. A woman had unknowingly appeared behind him. She was wearing red and looked stunning as she calmly gazed at Wang Lin. Her eyes seemed to contain the stars and formed an invisible vortex that would attract one's gaze. What explanation do you need? Wang Lin's expression remained neutral, but his pupils shrank. His left hand reached at the void. A monstrous, red light flashed and the blood sword appeared. The woman's gaze fell on the blood sword. Her eyes revealed a strange light and she softly said, I recognize that sword, it once injured the Celestial Emperor. You are a royal ancient god who can wield the power of this sword. Wang Lin became cautious as he stared at the woman. The woman before him didn't feel strong, but he vaguely had a feeling that what he was looking at wasn't her real body, but an avatar. The woman played with her hair and softly said, Don't be nervous, my original body is healing, so my avatar came. Although it is at the Heaven's Blight stage, I may not be able to make you stay, and I don't want to become your enemy. Wang Lin didn't speak a word and his expression revealed nothing, but he gripped the blood sword even tighter with his left hand. The woman looked at Wang Lin and softly said, I'm one of the ancient Celestial Emperor's concubines. My name is One Moon. The woman beside you has lost almost all her vitality, but looking at you, you seem to have a way to bring it back. I can't make you stay, but I can prevent you from leaving for long enough that woman's vitality completely dissipates. Wang Lin's expression remained the same, but there was determination in his calmness as he slowly said, If she dies, I won't leave this place. Instead, I'll slaughter my way to where you're healing and kill you. You can try. The woman's eyes revealed a look of admiration and she smiled. That is indeed possible. How about this? I can send you out of here and give you time to resurrect that woman as long as you promise something. What promise? Wang Lin frowned. The woman looked at Wang Lin and softly said, After you save this woman, you have to come back and help me heal. I won't make you come for nothing. I don't know what is in the depths of the spatial crack, but I know that there is an ancient god altar. You help me heal and I'll help you get to the ancient god altar. I presume you know what the ancient god altar is. I'll also make a Tao pact with you to guarantee that we will not be enemies. Wang Lin silently pondered. He didn't know what the ancient god altar was, but from the look of this woman, she was very confident he would be moved. Why choose me? Because you are a royal ancient god. Because you can control the blood sword that once injured the Celestial Emperor. Because you have the aura of someone familiar to me. I presume you have obtained his approval. Because you have 5 essences inside your body. Once your 5 essences reach completion, you can even battle the Celestial Emperor. These are my reasons for forming an alliance with you. If we are allies, I can give you similar benefits. The woman looked at Wang Lin while saying all of this. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged. It was impossible to tell what he was thinking. The woman smiled and waved her right hand. A ray of white light floated toward Wang Lin. With this jade, you can enter this spatial crack from anywhere or go to the exit with it. I'll wait for you. After the woman finished, she turned and disappeared without a sound, just like how she appeared. It was as if she had only come to hand him this jade. After taking the jade, Wang Lin looked at the direction the woman went to and frowned once more. What is this person's purpose? What is that ancient god altar? While pondering, Wang Lin's divine sense swept the jade in his hand. The jade was very simple, it was only a transfer array, but it was extremely complicated. However, with Wang Lin's knowledge of restrictions, he could easily see that there was no danger. After pondering a bit, he sent a sliver of his divine sense into the transfer array in the jade. The divine sense disappeared in a flash and appeared at the exit to the spatial crack. After determining that there was no harm, Wang Lin suppressed his doubt toward the woman and disappeared in a flash of light from the jade. Deep within the spatial crack, there it was a dark world with a hexagonal, red crystal. The crystal was 100 feet tall. It was like ice, and there was a woman sitting inside it. The woman's eyelashes trembled and she slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze pierced through the crystal and into the void. No one knew what she was thinking. This video will end here.